Hi Louise and family, I hope you're all well and you've had a good week. I thought I'd just do you a quick video to show you what I've been up to with your garden plans this week. So after the survey last Tuesday, I've kind of taken our sketch concept and I've made it all work to scale. So now this is the proper model with all the sort of proper dimensions in it, so we can really start to get a feel of how the space works and how it all fits together. So there were a few adjustments needed from what Bloor's site plan said they were going to give you and what you've ended up with, but pretty much you know, the overall shape was there, and I just needed to kind of fine tune it for the sort of dimensions that I got on site. So luckily it all works. I'm really pleased about that. And I've been working on sort of building this model up for you. It's still very sketchy and very raw, but I thought it'd be good to sort of show you around in 3D. It's a bit of a clunky program, so you just have to excuse it while it kind of renders. It kind of goes to these funny squares. But I just want to take you for a quick spin around your new garden, because I think it always helps to kind of see a kind of 3D model, and this is all the correct sizes. So once I give it a spin, we'll sort of wait for it to correct itself. Actually, what I'm going to do is take off the planting for now, because that kind of slows the model down. So let's sort of take the planting out for the minute, and you can just see the bare bones of the garden, which is the kind of shapes and things that we want to agree on. So this is how I kind of see it all working. Let's get my little pointer there. Yeah, so you've ended up with a nice size kind of terrace here, big enough for a nice dining table and chairs outside. This is the kind of change in height that I want to do with the raised bed up against the garage. And that just means with a bit of ground level planting in front of it and then raised planting, it just kind of frames and obscures this area, and we can grow those lovely fig trees or pleached apples and things up against that lovely sunny wall. You may want to stagger this. Actually, I've done one big planting bed at the moment. We can also split that into two and have two different heights if you wanted to, but I've just kept it simple to start with. And I wanted to put in these kind of block shapes to show you how the hedges really work. It's fantastic using a kind of clipped formal hedge to sort of break up and zone a space. So I think you can see with those kind of two lines of straight hedge in there, it kind of gives it little zones. So you've got your dining zone, and then you've got your kind of outdoor living area straight outside your living room. So I think that kind of works really well. It's really good with clipped hedges to sort of make it into these little areas. And then of course we've got the sort of circular one around your little morning coffee nook there in the corner, which I think is going to be really cute. It's going to just give that space a sense of enclosure. You know, when you're sitting there, it's going to kind of give you a hug, which is really nice. Now, what I wasn't sure about were the exact levels, and when we come to build this, it will all become very apparent once we get to sort of measuring levels properly. But as you know, we kind of took a rough estimate down in this corner that you're almost kind of 70 centimetres below top patio height down in this corner here, which is surprising really. But it's not such a big gradient up at this end, so it really does slope down this way and this way into this corner. So a slight amend on the plan is that I've actually created another terrace. I think we might end up with kind of 3 levels in actual fact. So if I just sort of show you how this works, you know, how we can sort of play with the levels. I can sort of, you know, play with lawn shapes and things and take things up and down. But what I really want to do is have this first top level all at one level with the patio where the current patio is, so that makes sense to me. Then we come down, it might be 1 2 steps, or it might even be a 3rd step down. So in actual fact that might come down a 3rd step, if you like, down there, but that's all fine, you know, in terms of build, that won't matter too much. But then I think we might actually need to step it across here as well, and this level over here, where your little shed's going to be, you know, it wasn't sort of dropping down quite so much, and I was actually thinking, you've got your access to the door here, which, whoops, I've forgotten to draw in, but you do have a door into the shed, into the garage, and I've continued the pathway down, and it might just be a drop down here to the shed here as well. It might be that the finished levels, it might be more like this, it might be closer, or we could step down and then step down again, or we might not need to. Whoops, that's got a funny shape there. It might end up more like that. So all of that, as you can see, is very simple with this design to sort of play with the levels. It won't make any difference at all. What I'm trying to say is it won't make any difference at all if we have to eventually go down 3 steps, 2 steps, and if we have to step it up here as well. Obviously, if it's that big a height difference, you might want to make it 2 steps there, like that. So all sorts of different permutations really, but nothing that we can't handle, that we can't deal with on site when we come to build it. The basic elements are in place, that we've got this overall layout pattern, and where we end up actually having to sort of create the height difference won't really matter, as long as we keep this line coming from the edge of the garage. I think this is important to me, that we create these nice lines out, so we've got our top level here and this nice kind of line, and it all kind of tallies up, and then this is the more fluid area, and this border can sort of sweep out and sweep back in depending on how much planting you want. You might want that as a narrower planting area. What else to let you know? The other thing was, these kind of transition areas. So the next step really would be to really sort of take this further and sort of choose our paving, I think a nice light sandstone or something, and then perhaps a contrasting unit. We talked about sort of mixing up patio and paving styles. So it kind of, I don't know, I was playing around with different ideas. We could have a big paving stone here and then go to a smaller set unit or a brick unit in this little nook, and as little edging going around and the path down to the shed. I think that would be quite nice. And then these are kind of stepping stones through gravelled areas, and whilst it looks a little bit weird just to have big lumps of gravel like that on the plan, let's just put the planting back in. The idea is that they are actually planted gravel areas, so they're a kind of soft transitional area. Let's put the plants back in and I'll show you if that helps. Yeah, so once you've got the plants in, you can hopefully really see that these areas, what we do is we membrane them, put the shingle, gravel, pebble, whatever we want, and then we have planting pockets within it. So all these little plants, and I was sort of thinking of the herbs, garden herbs and things, Mediterranean style planting, lavenders, rosemary, they would be all kind of within this path. So it's not a completely clean line, brick-edged paving, sort of all squares and straight lines. That's going to give this design the kind of softness, and you'll get carried away with this, because once you start planting in little nooks and crannies around in gravel, in paving stones, and they'll self-seed and they'll spread, and you know, you can go as wild or contained as you want with it really. But it's a really nice way to sort of break up large areas. So there we have it. I've just popped in a a few pots and things just to play around with. Obviously that's all to your own taste and style. This model software isn't great, so it's a bit of an eclectic range of pots, but you can obviously have them all matching. You could go for quite a sort of constrained sort of idea of kind of very formal layout of pots, or you can have them all kind of different sizes and shapes and play around with it to your heart's content. But once the sort of bare bones are in place, I think this is a garden that you'll really be able to kind of add to and put your own stamp on. So the basic construction is going to be real oak, new oak timber sleepers. That's the kind of most cost-effective way to get these levels in. So they will be the edgings and the retainers for the changing level and the kind of edgings for the steps and what have you. Then we'll have a sandstone paving and a smaller unit, and the sandstone paving going through. We'll choose an aggregate stone that you like to sort of match in or contrast, and timber sleepers for the raised bed as well. I think that's how we're going to achieve this garden on budget. If we went to brick walling or even rendered blockwork, that would give a more modern contemporary feel, especially the rendered blockwork. You know, you could have it all crisp white, but that's going to add substantially to the cost of the build. So it's something that you can always talk to the builder about. Let me just take you round. I've put the dimensions of your house, and obviously the windows are looking like great big slabs of glass, and they're not quite. I know they're double doors, but you can see, especially from your kitchen, what a lovely new view you're going to have. Let me just get rid of that layer there, get that out of the way, and we can do a little, zoom through the wall here. So there we go. So this would be your new view out from those lovely double kitchen patio doors that you've got. I know you've got uprights, but basically just gives you a nice kind of idea of the layers of your garden. It's going to look layered. You're going to have obviously the height of the sort of hedging, then you're going to have a different height of the raised bed, and then it's going to drop down, and you'll just sort of see the edge of the garden like an infinity drop, and then it will drop down, and it's going to give you a sense of space, I think. I think it's going to make your garden look bigger. Obviously I haven't put in the fencing here yet, so you've got an infinity view, but I have popped in sort of rough tree positions, so hopefully that's going to kind of knock out that obtrusive window that you've got there. And then let's just grab the whole model and shift along and zoom into your living room. And then you can see how this is going to be a lovely indoor-outdoor theme. You know, you've got your living room furniture, and then you'll have soft seating area out here. You'll have a little outdoor couch, or you could put a kind of L-shaped sofa arrangement in. But that's going to just feel like a continuation of your living room, and it's going to be beautifully framed because you've got this kind of hedging, you know, that's going to kind of box it in and contain it, and then you'll have the steps down, soft planting areas, and hopefully, I know these trees look enormous and it's going to take quite a few years to achieve this look, but I just wanted to give you a sense of how it could look in, you know, sort of 5-7 years time or whatever, once you've got a bit of maturity. We'll put in whatever trees we can afford on the budget at the time. You know, we'll sort of, you know, you'll need to sort of choose your budget really for trees. But I think, you know, a collection of kind of trees along this side, and then a kind of sub-layer of shrubs and then perennials in front is just going to look lovely. And this will be your sweeping curve bit, so this is going to be more natural against these straight lines. And then from the living room, your little nook around the corner is kind of hidden, you can see, so it really is going to be a little private space there. You know, this little, if we just zoom through the window, this little kind of reading coffee area, whatever you'd like to call it, around here, hopefully, you know, is going to be really kind of private and sort of hidden away. It's going to feel like a lovely little space to go and chill out, read a book. There we are, back in your living room. So I hope that's okay. I hope you like the look of it. Any questions, let me know. Anything to add at this stage, any of those decisions that you want to make, if there's anything that you want to change or anything that you're not sure about, then please do just drop me a line. So I'll leave this with you for, if I leave this with you for a week or so to kind of sit and settle, really do sort of think about it and have a good look through it again. And if there aren't any changes or anything that you want to add, take away, change, then I'll plough ahead and start going to final scale drawings that we could have costed up. You know, I'll get the plans drawn up. That will take a few weeks actually. Just need to get the specifications right. Get all the plans drawn out with kind of viewpoints and any sort of construction details. So that's the sort of next and final stage really. So I'll leave it with you for now, guys, and take care and have a good week. Bye for now. Bye.